saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This was a Quentin Tarantino film, and the setup is like basically, I guess Tarantino wanted to give an alternate ending to something that happened in real life.
Which he's done a couple times before, I think, in films. Inglourious Bastards is one of them.
Okay.
Django Unchained, maybe he changed some historical things.
Yeah.
So it's a thing that he does.
So this was about the actress Sharon Tate.
Yeah, the infamous Charles Manson family murders, where Sharon Tate and some of her friends, she was an actress, were murdered in their home by these Manson followers.
Okay. And so he wants to give a different ending to history, that historical event.
This movie's better than it just sounded, right? Like,
well, I think that's great. Like, I love that. Like, taking a historical event and, like, saying, you know what, I want to give it a different ending, and then doing that. I think that's fantastic. And we've had lots of movies do that. Inglourious Bastards, it was and we've
awesome.
had other movies besides that one taking the Hitler thing and giving a different...
You could tell that Quentin Tarantino, and he both reportedly, and you could tell from watching the movie, really loved this time in Hollywood. This is a period piece, really.
It's 1960s.
Yeah, and so it was really...
So,
exciting.
What do you tell people? Go, wait, or skip?
I say go see this movie. This is the best movie that I've seen in a pretty long time, I think. Like, I really enjoyed it. It is so long. It's 2 hours and...
It's not so long. It was 2 hours, 47 minutes.
But it did not feel that long to me, and that's a big deal to me. I thought it was really entertaining, really well done, really smart. It was funny. I love the characters in it, and go see the movie.
I'm going to say go/skip. And here's my reason for it. If Quentin Tarantino is not your thing... Actually, what am I going to say? Maybe I've changed this. Okay, here's what I'm going to say, guys. I'm going to say go see this movie, but if Quentin Tarantino level violence isn't your thing, then do what I did and close your eyes, because it's only for like 5 minutes of the movie. 10 max.
Maybe like 23, 20, maybe like 36 minutes, okay?
No way.
Maybe like an hour.
5-10 minutes max, and it's all together. Because we got like over halfway through, and I was like, oh, I haven't seen any violence. It's a Quentin Tarantino movie. Okay. And so it's all
pretty much,
bundled together in like one part. Close your eyes for that.
But
the rest of it was so good. Like, so what he did, I went in and I didn't even know the setup for the movie, so it had to be explained to me by Kelsey afterwards. But so the characters that Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt play are completely fictional.
They're fictitious. And
they're there to really kind of give depth and move the story along, so that you have this kind of side view into Sharon Tate and her life.
Yeah, it will mostly.
And it's not even a direct. It's like you just get to kind of observe. It's really kind of a special thing that he did by the way that he did.
Yeah, the way he treated her character was really special, because it just made her a really special person, and treated her with a lot of love, and made her, I don't know, just like an angel almost. And then the DiCaprio and Pitt are excellent in this movie together. The characters that play are both awesome, and then they're like lovable kind of misfits in a way, both of them, and it plays throughout the movie, and I just it was a really good movie. Spoilers.
So what he does is he takes Cliff Booth is Brad Pitt's character, and Leonardo DiCaprio plays an actor whose name is Rick Dalton, right? Rick?
Yeah.
Rick Dalton. And they're the fictitious characters that are added into this historical event so that it can have a different ending. And so basically, you get the really troubled actor that is Rick Dalton.
Yeah.
He's an alcoholic. He doesn't know where his real worth comes from. He is kind of caught up in materialism, and his Cliff Booth is a stunt double, but turns out to just be his good friend that's also an assistant and always there. He is really the central person. And what I called it was a folk hero.
Cliff Booth, he was definitely the hero of the movie.
Quentin Tarantino created this folk hero that throughout the movie, you just love this guy.
Yeah.
He's really cool, he's laid back, he supports Rick Dalton when he needs support.
He has no fear.
Yeah, he's just lives in the present, but not in a way that is slothful or something. Sometimes people show people living in the present and they're I just don't care about anything. And it wasn't that. it was like he still like he did the right thing. Like he meets this young girl who claims she's 18, and he's like, "You're not 18," and so he has like he's like that good guy because you know he's not going to sleep with a girl just because she says she's 18. He's plays like he's real attractive in the movie. I mean, at one point he's on a roof. He takes his shirt off. We don't know why. Like I thought there was going to be a reason.
We know why.
I thought there was going to be a reason.
Why. You know why.
And there was no reason. Like, it was part of the folk hero-ness, Like, it was really, like, kind of a neat thing.
He was kind of, like, inspiring. I was like, I want to be like that guy more.
He had, like, this dog that was a pit bull, but really well-trained and, like, at his beck and command. And it was, like, played, throughout the whole movie because at the end, it was critical.
They did a lot of that. Like, they did a lot of that. It showed also in the movie throughout, like, that he was not afraid. So, like, when he went out to the commune thing, the thing
that's what I was like, why?
He did out there, I was like, why would they, like, that's so rowdy. But then I was like, oh, they were showing that later. Because later it sets you up because he's tripping on acid. And you're like, oh, no, is this going to be, like, he's just totally fine. Like, you know what I mean, in the situation.
Yeah, when he goes out to the commune, I was like, dude, why are you are outnumbered, guy. Like, why didn't you get in your car and call the police?
He punched that guy. And that's like,
it's crazy.
Folk
but, like, so all this is set up so that he can be there when the Charles Manson people come.
Yeah.
They don't make it to whatever house they were intending to go to, which, and historically, was Sharon Tate's house. I guess, I assume.
Yeah.
I don't know the details of that. Instead, they end up here because Rick Dalton, like, confronts them earlier in the evening and is really, like, an ass.
Yeah, and it's so funny. He's all, like...
like, he has a margarita and he's in a robe.
And he's like... So when he plays these characters, he's an actor, and he plays these characters in this movie that are all, like, heroes. But then he's all, like, got this thing of murder. He's like, get out of here! You don't belong here! Like, he's, like, the worst. So it was an interesting treatment of fake versus reality. And then his friend was the reality.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
Was the hero.
And so the way he changed it is that historically, like, Sharon Tate and her friends were murdered, the tables were turned in this movie. So
it was an awesome movie.
like Kelsey, you were telling me that, like, a lot of people felt like there was a big change in Hollywood when these murders happened.
There was a big change in the American culture when the murders happened.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people saw it was the death of the 60s, the death of what the 60s were about.
And so if you had, like, a love for this time period, Quentin Tarantino used, like, this movie and, like, was basically like, well, here's what should have happened, and, screw them. I just wrote this, and, like, I mean, these people were, like, all I could do was hear it, because I shut my eye, like, I covered my eyes, or I would just see, like, a tiny bit through my fingers, and whatever I was hearing was almost too much. It was overwhelming for me. Yeah. Like, I had to tell myself, well, Rachel, none of this is real. You're an adult. Like, they're using, like, fake things and fake blood, and, like, all this. It's all, like, fake. But it was really, really good. The whole movie was so good. And one of the reasons why it was so good is because it was very real. And this movie, watching it, made me be more aware of all the other movies I see that use CGI and all are on sets and all this stuff. Because, like, there's a scene where Sharon Tate walks across the street and there's all these cars, like, stopped at the light, and they're from the 60s, right? And it's so real. Like, I can hear the motors. I can hear, like, everything. And I was like, oh, this feels so real. I think it was why it was hard for me to watch the very violent scene, because the whole movie seemed so real to me. Whereas Kill Bill doesn't seem real to me. It seems like a comic bookish kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I really like this movie. I thought that Rick Dalton's character is also really awesome. Like, he's really likable. I thought it treated both the characters, the main characters, I would argue, Rick Dalton and, what was the other guy's name?
Cliff Booth.
And Cliff Booth, treated them both super well. They're both, like, were obviously very different, but both, like, obviously, like, cared about each other. Yeah. And then, I mean, even Rick Dalton got his hero moment thing at the end with that flamethrower, which was a callback to an early thing. There was a lot of callbacks.
Well, he had a lot of great connections. Like, he was on set, and he had a great connection with a girl, an 8-year-old girl actress. Now, it added to the length of the movie, because you got a lot of depth about Rick Dalton and a lot of depth about Cliff Booth, and that's why the movie was so long. But I was like, you know what? Like, I'm willing, this was so good that I welcome that, because I feel like we get caught into a thing that movies can't be longer than 2 hours and a bunch of stuff hits the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
And I just want, like, all the goodness. Like, hey, Quentin Tarantino, like, this was your movie. You wrote and directed
Perfect
this.
ending,
Like, just give it, like, yeah, I'm going to take all of it. I want it all, you know?
Just a perfect ending, too. I was really, like, satisfied with the end and happy. And,
yeah.
And I know that Tarantino invited the family of Sharon Tate to, like, set for, like, 3 days, and they told him about what he was doing, and they really liked it. The only people's family who didn't like the movie is Bruce Lee's family don't like this movie. And that's because it kind of makes Bruce Lee look like an ass, but you would just have to remind these people that this is a Quentin Tarantino universe, which all his films take place in, which is not real. So that Bruce Lee is not the real Bruce Lee, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know why you would.
And that was something I learned after watching this movie, is that Quentin Tarantino has a universe, that all his movies, and there's a mid-credit scene with Leonardo DiCaprio's character, Rick Dalton, and he's smoking Red Apple cigarettes. Apparently, Red Apple cigarettes is in Pulp Fiction as a brand. And so, anyway, all his movies have, like, connections, and they're all part of the same universe. Yeah. And I didn't even know that. I'm not going to go and rewatch all of his movies to do that, because the violence is just a little too much for me, and I can't. I'm not going to fill myself up with binge-watching Tarantino movies, like, with that much violence. But, yeah, so... Anything else?
Nope.
All right.
Okay.
You can binge watch Rachelsey at the movies, though, and when you do that,
all damn day,
just like, comment, and subscribe every single time. Even if you're already subscribed, just keep hitting the subscribe button. Unless it says unsubscribe, then don't hit that button.
Don't ever hit that.
You know
Never
what?
hit that button.
I changed my mind. Hit subscribe once, like, comment all the time.
Okay.
There we go.
Those are your final instructions?
Those are my final instructions.